Could the Golden State Warriors make another splash move in NBA free agency? We're going to talk about that at the end of the video. Stay tuned for it. You don't want to miss it. But first, let's talk about this on Golden State Warriors today. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for being here with us. Lester Quinones, he has agreed to return to the Golden State Warriors on a two-way NBA deal per sources from Shams. Quinones will enter training camp with a strong opportunity to win a full roster spot throughout the NBA Summer League. He was really good, as we've documented here on the show, averaging almost 22 points per game, 4.5 assists, 4+ rebounds in 7 Summer League games for the Dubs. And with the way that he played in the Summer League, scoring at all 3 levels, you think about what the Golden State Warriors did, right? They moved off of Jordan Poole. That effectively opens up a roster spot. Did Lester earn a spot on this roster for 2023-2024? There's an opportunity, as Shams pointed out, as I've continued to say, for him to make this team and give this squad that scoring punch that departs to Washington, D.C. with Jordan Poole going from the West Coast to the East Coast. Lester, really good throughout the Summer League. I like the energy. I like the movement. I like the athleticism. I really liked his patience on the offensive end, and when I watched him coming out of Memphis, he could navigate on the floor, get to his spot, very confident in rising up from really anywhere on the floor. I just thought that he needed a little bit more development to become a consistent NBA player. And let's be real. I mean, the guy is 22 years old, but at 6'4", does have some pretty solid size. And he was the G League Most Improved Player in 2023, G League All-Rookie Team in 2023. And you think about the trajectory for Jordan Poole, he was, of course, a first-round pick, and he was a little bit raw to start his NBA career. For Lester, he was undrafted, but raw to start his NBA career. But what happened with Poole? Up and down from the G League level to the NBA level. Then he just bursts onto the scene at the tail end of the 2020-2021 season. And then 2 years ago, 2021-2022, that's when he was scoring like crazy, really helping the Warriors offensively win that NBA championship. This past year, a down year. But throughout the playoffs 2 years ago, he did help the Warriors embark on that championship run. I'm not saying that Lester is going to be a Jordan Poole type of player, hyper scorer. I am just saying that the game is somewhat similar, and the role that he could have in being that scoring guard off the bench could be a Jordan Poole type of role. So what's your one-word reaction to him signing this two-way deal? Let us know what you think about Lester. I'm very intrigued by what we see throughout the preseason and in training camp. That'll be our pinned comment on today's show. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, just scroll on down, get those votes in. And by the time you do that, we're going to be talking about Draymond Green beefing with Jonathan Kuminga. And speaking of that story number 2 on the docket today. According to Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area, I talked about this late last night on a YouTube short, bunch of content out on the YouTube short page as well, because we like to be versatile here on the program. Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga don't have a relationship. This is kind of a problem. Monty Poole with this report, Draymond, Jonathan Kuminga's non-relationship. It is a problem, and it can only be fixed by Draymond Green. The new contract implies the Warriors believe he can fix it, but around the league, there are a lot of people saying, quote, I don't know. I'll tell you this about Draymond Green. He's getting a little bit older in his NBA career, and he's kind of becoming that get off my lawn type of guy. If you don't do it my way, chappie, it's the highway. Like, dude, you have to be able to mold to this new generation. You've always prided yourself in being the leader of the Golden State Warriors. You've been really instrumental in this championship culture. You're one of the best defensive players of this generation. You've won 4 NBA championships. Sometimes the offense runs through you, but you have to adapt to some of these younger players on this team. You couldn't do it with Jordan Poole. You're not doing it with Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors are trying to have this blend of veterans and young players on this team so that once Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson move on, they're not going to be in the dumpster and in the cellar at the NBA level. And in order to do that, you need to be able to deal with some of the bumps and bruises that come along inevitably with the young player's development. And Kuminga's one of them. A little bit immature, so too is Jordan Poole. Draymond, step up and be a leader here. Draymond on the Jonathan Kuminga relationship. I don't know him yet. I'm trying to lead him. That's really all he had to say about his relationship with Kuminga. What about his relationship with Chris Paul, though? He did say, I'm excited to play with the veteran. This guy is a dog, but he didn't always get along with CP3 either. Trouble in paradise? I think they're going to be able to really get this on the right track, though. Everyone's like, how are they supposed to be teammates now? And I'll tell you how, number one, I've never been in the situation really to build a relationship with him. There's no sugarcoating what's happened all these years. This is real life. I publicly said I didn't like Chris before. I'm not going to just be like, oh man, that changed now that he's my teammate. No. I look forward to talking amongst men. Chris is a pro. I'm looking forward to going to work with a pro. He's super smart, and he's shown to be a great leader. He also said, I'm looking forward to playing with a guy like that. Look, this is really the deal. Draymond needs to wipe the slate clean. Like, if you want to win an NBA championship, you need Chris Paul to be productive. You need Jonathan Kuminga on this team to give you that insertion of young, athletic wings who can score and defend at a really high level. And you have talked about on the record how the Warriors' culture last year wasn't all that good, and that's a big reason why this team didn't have success. The Warriors brought you back on a 4-year, $100 million contract with the player option on that final year. You're here for the long haul. Kuminga's here. Chris Paul's here for at least this upcoming season. Wipe the damn slate clean. And CP3 and Draymond, they need to lead Jonathan Kuminga. If the reports of him being a little bit immature are true, CP3 and Draymond need to extract the best out of him to help him maximize his potential as a player, because it only results in winning. And he's had and shown a lot of potential in his first 2 years as Jonathan Kuminga. I think there's a really good player in there, and it's up to CP3, Draymond, and others to help really assist him in this process. So do you have faith in Jonathan Kuminga? Do you think he's going to be an impactful player for this team? Y for yes, N for no. And of course, Draymond is somewhat smart with calling out the BS, right, for some of these younger players too. But it's one of those situations, both things can be true. They might be young and immature. You might be really tired of it at the same time, but you have to find a way to be a leader and get over some of that stuff. All right, coming up next on the show, we told you at the start of it, could the Warriors make another splash move in NBA free agency? That's coming up at the end of the show. But first, we surpassed 59,000 subscribers. You know what we're shooting for now? 60,000 subscribers. If you're looking for year-round Warriors coverage that's informative, entertaining, insightful, consistent, we talk Dubs at this point on a near daily basis, but for sure year-round, this is your go-to Warriors channel on YouTube. Subscribe, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Or even easier for you, all you have to do is put the D in the subscribe button. Could the Warriors sign Rudy Gay? It would end up being subscribe. You see what I did there? Could the Dubs sign Rudy Gay? According to Michael Scotto, Hoops Hype, the Thunder released Rudy Gay. And could the Warriors sign him to the roster? They are said to be one of the teams interested in the longtime wing who, throughout his career, has been a very good scorer and offensive player in this league, but is a little bit older. Here's that report from Hoops Hype on Rudy Gay and the Warriors' potential interest in him. Veteran forward Rudy Gay is expected to draw interest from several caliber playoff teams. That list does include the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Dallas Mavericks, Chicago Bulls, and the New Orleans Pelicans. You look at what he's done over his last 4 years, and for Rudy Gay, the play has declined a little bit. 8th overall pick all the way back in 2006, and he's 36 years old at this point. A bench player who can score it. Unfortunately, though, the efficiency with that scoring load has not been good. 37.8% on his field goals last year, a paltry 25% from three-point range last year with the Jazz. And then the year before that, the number's a little bit better. In 2020, 2021, it's the best season he's had in a little while for a bad San Antonio Spurs team. At this point, a little bit younger, a little bit more spry, 11.5 points per game, 42% on his field goals, and 38% from three. really the question is, do the Warriors need another guard? Do they need another wing? This doesn't fit the bill of them signing a center, which I still believe is worrisome on this team. You have Kevon Looney, Dario Saric, Trace Jackson Davis, Draymond Green, I guess, as a big. But I thought that they, going into this offseason, needed to fortify that front court a little bit. They've done that a little bit with Dario Saric. They're set at guard, in my opinion, though. You look at all their guards and wings on this team, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the trade for Chris Paul. Moses Moody, I think, could be in store for a larger role. Gary Payton II gives you high-level defense. Brandon Podziemski, not good in the NBA Summer League, as we outlined in our Summer League winners and losers video. Lester Quinones, he's on that two-way deal. So you have 9 potential guards here. Is your roster going to be comprised of all of these guards? Andrew Wiggins classifies more as a wing. And then are you going to bring in Rudy Gay in here as well as a guy who's 6'8", has scored the rock in the past, but at this point, his offensive game is kind of going by the wayside as he's gotten a little bit older. Size, still an issue on this basketball team, especially when you think about the top 2 teams outside of Golden State in the Western Conference, in my opinion, going into this year. Los Angeles Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. 2 teams that are bigger, longer, more athletic, and that gave the Warriors fits this past year. Also, a team like the Sacramento Kings, they were ahead of the Warriors in the NBA playoff standings. They, too, have some size that could cause the Warriors troubles if Sacramento becomes more and more playoff seasoned, as that series last year probably helped them out going the distance 7 games with Golden State. So name a player that the Warriors should sign. Drop us a name down below before we hop on out of here. Do not forget to subscribe to us here on Golden State Warriors Today. And I told you at the start, we're going to tell you about that potential veteran splash signing at the start of the show. If you made it to the end, give me a real one down below.